It is the core of everything, and a lot of people probably overlook this or just don't know this in general. But I've spoken about ideas like this on content on my TikTok. I think I've put some little sentences here and there in my long form, but huge thing that I believe in is rewiring your subconscious mind to do whatever you want it to do, essentially. And you're doing whenever you rewire your subconscious is you are shaping your identity. You are becoming something else. You are becoming different. You are essentially building a character and telling yourself what that character is, what the character does, and how that character operates. One thing that I think a lot of traders lack is their identity, in the sense that they do not identify as the person who don't identify with the things that they should identify with. Instead, they don't even know what they identify with, for one, or they do actually identify with the things that are holding them back. Like, oh, I always do this. Oh, I always mess up like this. Those things, reinforcing that in your mind, it sounds far-fetched to some people. It sounds stupid to some people. They think you're part of the whole astrology girl shit, but like, we're talking about your subconscious, and we're talking about essentially who you are whenever you are running on autopilot. I can tell you guys right now that I have not myself identified as the trader I should be every single month in and out. I have definitely identified as the trader who I want to be for a month, and then I stop. And then it's not like I'm intentionally doing that. I just switch my identity due to me wanting to change on my own. I never really thought about it like, oh, I need to identify as this. It just happens. So like, for example, last September, I was fully the trader that never broke the rules. I took only trades that I was supposed to take, etc. And of course, that was the best month I've ever had. I think other than February. And whenever I pretty much lose focus on being that, that's whenever I find myself doing stupid things more often. One thing that was included in my research this weekend was this, and I found it very interesting enough to relay to you guys. So one thing that I found is that this is apparently in the book of Atomic Habits. I've not read it, but one thing that they talk about is how your identity completely beats out willpower. So instead of just trying to force something, instead of trying to force yourself to be a certain way, you have to literally essentially identify as the person who is a thing. So in this example, you see, I am a patient trader. You literally should say that to yourself, agree with it yourself, admit it to yourself, and you don't just think these things one time. You repeat these things to yourself, and it takes repetition, and that's how it gets drilled into your subconscious mind. And that's how your subconscious picks it up. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of manifestation or visualization and those type of techniques, where the whole idea is repetitive thought changes you on a subconscious level, and then your subconscious, basically your autopilot, your new autopilot, essentially does the things that align with what you want, or align with who you think you are, or align with who you are. And that's the whole premise. So like, a lot of people will kind of fuck themselves over by admitting to themselves that they are somebody they don't want to be. Like, let's say you're a trader who, like me, for example, I can say to myself, and I've done this, where like, oh, I always take, or not I always, but like, I have an issue with taking impulsive trades. I can't keep repeating that to myself, because that's literally reinforcing that statement in my head, and my subconscious picks that up. And then what happens is the neural pathways are pretty much, they're not completely cemented ever, but they are there, and it's familiar to my brain to basically act as if I am that which I've kind of admitted to myself that I am. So what do we got to do to fix it? You got to create a new identity for yourself. And this is a practice. I know they do this in rehab. Essentially what you do and what you're doing is they'll have you basically create the version of yourself that is like a superhero to you, in the sense where it's like everything you want, or everything you want to be, you put it on a piece of paper, you put it in words and imagery, and you essentially draw yourself as your dream human or your dream person, and it helps you identify with that subconsciously. So that's the same thing you got to do, except this time we're only applying it to trading. These are things you can apply to your life, but how can we do that, and how can we get rid of the beliefs that we are something that we don't want to be? And it's similar to the superhero method, but it's not really the exact same. But yeah, this is what you should all do. You essentially write a manifesto, put in everything that you want to be. I'll show you guys mine right now. So I'm the kind of trader who never breaks their rules. I always follow my original plan unless something clearly tells me otherwise. My trading rules are sacred because they ensure long-term success. I value clear trade setups over unclear setups because when they are clear, they tend to work out for me more. I never take trades without a clear thesis. My number one job is to execute with integrity. So this is my manifesto. This is who I am as a trader at my highest potential. I am the person that I'm describing right here. So you guys can make your own manifesto. I mean, obviously it's just a sheet of paper called manifesto, and I write down who I am, but this is something that a lot of people probably look at it and they're like, that doesn't get you profitable. And like, I agree with you. Of course, you have to make the right decisions and you have to take the actions that lead to you being successful. It's not just as simple as wishing for something, but whenever you repeatedly tell yourself that you are something, your subconscious believes that. And then a lot of you guys think you're fully in control 24 hours a day, but what's really happening is a lot of the time you are actually unconscious, and your autopilot essentially is running your life. Like, that's where your decisions come from, your autopilot. You're not even consciously doing things. And I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. You're doing things without even thinking to do them. So the whole goal of this is to set the bar there for yourself. Become the person that you want to be, essentially, whenever you're on autopilot. Like, you want to become the best trader, and then you want the best trader to operate on autopilot, and it takes a little effort or willpower. If you truly shift your identity, you'll never need motivation again. Discipline will just be who you are. It's essentially just in your nature at that point. And I'm sure if you guys have read Atomic Habits, I bet someone that's watching this has, but you will probably remember seeing this in there. And essentially, just like I've repeated already so many times, is your identity ultimately will lead to you making decisions and you acting a certain way. If you identify as a trader who breaks their rules, takes bad trades, and you tell yourself that, and you tell yourself that multiple times and you reinforce it, your subconscious is going to believe that, and you are going to continue doing the same thing. One step that I'm taking over the next 90 days is literally just having this on my screen every single morning before my session, along with everything else that I'm doing. And the goal is to get it cemented in my brain through repetitive thought. And that's how I'm going to become the best I've ever been. So I hope you guys took some value out of that video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.